Chuck Norris is a name that evokes invincibility, a global icon of martial arts, action cinema, and internet humor. Six-time world karate champion, star of more than 30 films, and the face of countless memes, he seems untouchable. Yet behind the roundhouse kicks and steely stares lies a story of hardship, fear, and human fragility. The world laughs at jokes about his unstoppable strength, but few know of the boy beaten by his father, the invisible child at school, and the man haunted by loss. His journey to becoming a legend was shaped not by luck, but by struggle, perseverance, and the quiet determination to rise above the violence, shame, and doubt that shadowed his early life. Childhood in a violent home. Born Carlos Ray Norris in 1940 in Ryan, Oklahoma, Chuck grew up in a home ruled by fear. His father, Ray Norris, was a mechanic, World War II veteran, an alcoholic whose fists spoke louder than words of love. Chuck's mother, Wilma, worked tirelessly to provide for her children, but was powerless to stop the abuse. The household was a place of terror and unpredictability, shaping Chuck's understanding of the world as a dangerous and unwelcoming place. From shattered furniture to bruises hidden under worn clothing, he learned to shrink and make himself invisible. These early years instilled fear, shame, and the belief that he was unworthy, a heavy burden that would follow him well into adulthood and influence both his personal and professional life. The struggle for identity at school. School offered no refuge from the pain at home. Shy, skinny, and anxious, Chuck was invisible in classrooms, unnoticed by teachers and peers. His stammer and worn-out clothes set him apart, making him a ghost among classmates. He wasn't actively bullied, yet he carried the weight of neglect and invisibility, a constant reminder that he didn't belong. The instability of moving from state to state compounded this loneliness, forcing him to confront poverty and uncertainty daily. Each relocation reinforced the message from his father that he was not enough. These experiences created deep emotional scars, fostering a quiet internal battle with fear and self-doubt that he would carry into his teenage years and beyond. Escape through the Air Force. At 18, Chuck joined the United States Air Force, not out of patriotism, but as a desperate bid to escape his abusive home. While the Air Force promised structure and safety, it also introduced him to new forms of isolation. Stationed at Osan Air Base in South Korea, Chuck felt lost, lonely, and unsure of himself. He struggled to fit in with peers, still haunted by his father's voice and criticism. The military, meant to be an escape, became a crucible for confronting inner fears. It was in Korea that he first encountered martial arts, a discipline that offered an alternative path. This experience would become transformative, teaching him that strength came not from rage, but from self-mastery and relentless effort. Discovery of martial arts. Wandering the streets of Osan, Chuck discovered a Korean dojang, where men moved with fluidity and purpose. Watching through the window, he felt awe and hesitation, confronting lifelong fears of inadequacy. His first lessons were painful, clumsy movements, failing balance, and exhaustion. But the training was unlike any adversity he had faced. Unlike his father's violence or school ridicule, martial arts offered constructive correction, patience, and the promise of growth. Under the guidance of a patient Korean master, Chuck learned that mastery comes from discipline and persistence, not innate talent. Each day, his body and mind transformed, awakening a strength long suppressed by fear. Martial arts became a language through which he could express himself, building confidence and reshaping his identity. Early challenges in America. Returning to the United States in 1962, Chuck brought his black belt but faced a world indifferent to his skills. Tang Soo Do was largely unknown in the U.S., and martial arts schools were rare. Married to Diane Holacek and supporting a young family, Chuck worked menial jobs, enduring soul-crushing monotony. He practiced tirelessly in empty apartments, replicating the lessons learned in Korea. Eventually, he opened a small karate school in Torrance, California, but success was slow. Students were few, and early days were filled with doubt and loneliness. Yet Chuck persisted, teaching with the same discipline and intensity that his master had shown him. Slowly, word spread, and his reputation began to grow, setting the stage for his eventual dominance in competitive martial arts. Competitive success and recognition. By the late 1960s, Chuck entered tournaments and quickly distinguished himself. He fought with precision and deliberate skill, not flashiness, winning respect and titles through hard-earned mastery. Between 1968 and 1974, he became a 6-time world middleweight karate champion, defeating legendary fighters like Joe Louis and Skipper Mullins. Though victorious, he still felt incomplete. Championship trophies offered validation but could not erase lingering self-doubt or pay the bills. His personal battles continued even as public recognition grew. These victories highlighted an essential truth: achieving excellence often does not heal deeper wounds. Chuck's martial arts journey exemplified the balance between external success and the ongoing struggle for internal affirmation and self-worth. Hollywood breakthrough and friendship with Bruce Lee. Despite martial arts acclaim, Hollywood initially rejected Chuck, seeing him as stiff or uncharismatic. Auditions ended in rejection after rejection, until a fortuitous encounter with Bruce Lee changed everything. Bruce recognized Chuck's discipline, authenticity, and presence, training and mentoring him. In 1972, Bruce cast him in Way of the Dragon as the antagonist, creating one of the most legendary fight sequences in cinema history. This role catapulted Chuck into the public eye, showcasing his skill, intensity, and ability to convey story through movement. Yet this triumph was shadowed by Bruce Lee's untimely death in 1973. Chuck lost a friend, mentor, and brother, reinforcing a painful lesson: even success cannot shield one from loss. He carried grief and guilt but continued forward, honoring Bruce's memory through perseverance. Rise as an action star. In the late 1970s and 1980s, Chuck became a fixture in action films. Titles like The Octagon, Lone Wolf McQuade, and the Missing in Action trilogy solidified his reputation as a formidable martial artist and screen presence. While not on par with megastars like Stallone or Schwarzenegger, he carved his own path, portraying disciplined, morally steadfast heroes. In 1993, Walker, Texas Ranger premiered, defining his legacy. As Cordell Walker, Chuck became the embodiment of justice, discipline, and honor. The show's global reach introduced millions to his ethos of good versus evil, persistence and morality. Despite wealth and fame, Chuck remained dedicated to discipline, often reflecting on the sacrifices made along the way, including personal moments and family strain. Global icon and cultural phenomenon. The 2000s brought an unexpected twist. The internet immortalized Chuck in the form of Chuck Norris facts. Absurd exaggerations of his strength transformed him into a meme icon, reaching audiences far younger than his original fan base. He became both a punchline and a hero simultaneously, celebrated for mythical invincibility while audiences discovered his real-life struggles. The meme phenomenon introduced him to a new generation, cementing his cultural impact and reinforcing the duality of his life. Extraordinary skill and humor overlaying decades of struggle. Chuck's journey from invisible child to global legend highlights how persistence, discipline, and character can redefine legacy, showing that real strength lies not just in fists, but in resilience and perseverance.